Okay, so guys, hello, episode 5. I'm going to do something kind of difficult in this episode, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is, I'm going to move this to the side and show you that I've already recorded this episode. I did this entire thing this morning, and it turns out that I recorded the entire thing muted. I had my mixer muted for my microphone, so I'm not actually explaining anything to you right now, unfortunately. So what I'm going to attempt to do, because I've already obviously, completed all of this progress in game and I can't go back and like do the quests again or whatever else, is I'm just going to try to voice over the video for 47 minutes and basically just spend twice as long as the video on the video, but that's okay. So I'm just going to try to take you through what I was going to take you through in this, episode so far. And we'll see how it goes. First off, Gemstone Crab. I haven't actually explained this too much yet, but I did start a little bit of Gemstone Crab on the account. This is from the last time that we logged off at the end of the last episode. We finished up with the Knight's Sword quest, and we were going to get into Black Knight's Fortress. After we logged off of that, I got on my main hardcore group Iron Man and decided to move this account over to Gemstone Crab. But I realized, I actually don't want to do this for too long because I want to keep myself under 40 combat for now for the tree spirits so I can get a rune axe. That's going to make more sense later. We'll get into it. But for now, I've just got a few higher strength levels. I think we finished Waterfall quest and we were 30 strength. So I've, AFK'd up to 38 strength, not too long. But I wanted to kind of explain to you guys how to get to the Gemstone Crab and show you that a bit. We'll get into it in a bit, but before I do so, I just go through here and show you a helpful plugin called Logout Timer. So the logout timer is something that is useful for activities like this. It's something that you could just set on one time on your account and just kind of keep it that way permanently. But if you look that up and you set it to 25 minutes, typically in game, the game is going to log you out after 5 minutes of inactivity. I'm pretty sure it's 5 minutes. It might be a little bit more. If you're in combat, it'll be right after 10 minutes. But if you change your logout timer to 25 minutes, you can step away from your computer. It doesn't really matter what content you're doing, and you can actually be AFK for 25 minutes and still be logged in. And that kind of thing can be helpful at Gemstone Crab, because if you're out of combat, like in this situation, if he's facing away from you, and you drop combat, if you have that typical logout timer, it'll log you off, halfway through your crab experience. So like this, you can actually just click it once, AFK for 10 minutes, not have to worry about it. And it can be, kind of useful for you. From there, I just kind of go through how to get here, because we haven't really explained this. I walked here for the first time, and I think walking here is the first thing you really are going to have to do. So if you want to travel here, we've already completed the Children of the Sun quest. We did that in episode 1, I want to say. So if you take your Chronicle teleport and tele to the Champions Guild, you can kind of walk east around Varrock and move over to the Quetzal to Varlamore. It's a bird that's on the east side of the Varrock wall. You just go ahead and take that. It's going to bring you to the center of Civitas Illifortis. From there, I just kind of point out, we've been here before if you remember doing the Eclipse Red Wine method, on day 1 to make some money. We're going to run west from there, go up through the little, thing on the map that says Kingdom of Varlamore, go to the Quetzalcoatl Gorge, and then take the guide to Auburn Valley. Now, you can actually just run across the mountain if you want to, but we're trying to get to this rowboat over here. So if you take the guide, it's about the same distance. I did it this way. I found it easy. I don't really know if there are aggressive monsters on the mountain. It's mountains in RuneScape. There might be. I haven't been there yet because this is new content. But you take the guide to the other location, and then just run southeast to the rowboat here, and then take that down to Castori, and it brings you to this rowboat, and you can see where I am on the map. That's going to be the Gemstone Crab. Now, there's one of 3 crab locations, so if you do want to do some AFK activity, this is a great way to do it. If you get there and he's not there, just go through the little cave. It'll take you to the correct one that he's at, and this is basically just a better way of, AFKing your stats, in the sense that if you're training on like ammonite crabs or sand crabs or rock crabs or something like that, something, very low level in AFK, you have to reset aggro every 10 minutes. So this just, kind of like handles that for you, because he just digs after 10 minutes and then goes to the next location. The added benefit is you can't get crashed here. So just something to look into if you guys want to, have some sort of AFK activity. I'm going to be doing it on this account a few times as we, train up, just because I have, about 7 hours a day that I'm playing my group hardcore account and not this account. So I'll have the opportunity to do some AFK training. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and start with a home teleport to get to, don't mind me, I'm going to pull up my notes over here. Try to follow along with what I did. We're going to pull up a home teleport to get to Lumbridge, and I'm just going to go ahead and set up my inventory to go to the, I guess I'm not. I'm just going to go to the Ham hideout, because we're going to go ahead and work on the Rusty Sword. and buttons. The Rusty Sword is something that we need for the RD Easy Diary. There are achievement diaries in this game that you can complete for some pieces of gear. They're inconsequential in terms of stats for the most part until you get to the higher level ones, but they have some helpful benefits on it, and with that is going to be the RD Cloak. That's what we're going to go for, and it's going to give us a teleport RD, so we kind of want to work on that, and you can do so down here in the ham hideout. So just go ahead and right click the trapdoor there, picklock the trapdoor, and then we're going to come in here and we're going to be pickpocketing from the ham members. Now you can kill these NPCs as well for the same drop table, but if you pickpocket them, you can see like every single time that I'm successful with a pickpocket, just kind of consider that, a kill on the NPCs. Obviously, it's going to be much faster overall if we're just pickpocketing over and over, especially if we're able to streak it without getting caught. The downside is when you get caught, typically it's 3 times in a row. When you have a higher thieving and agility level, you can actually avoid that blow for a bit and stay in there a bit longer without getting caught. But they're going to do one of 2 things. They're either going to toss you in jail over here, which you just pick the lock, go back into the room, and then you're there, or they're going to toss you outside of the ham hideout. So when that happens, it's okay. You can just, come back in the same way that you got here at the first time. Also, something kind of additional is I think it's just, speculation, but I mean, I've tested a lot in the past, and it seems to be pretty good speculation. That if you go between 2 different ham members, I don't know if it has to be between men and women, but if you go between 2 different ham members, there's some thought that it sometimes like resets that, that caught counter where, they might catch you for, 2 times in a row and then you switch before the 3rd one. Don't know if it actually works. Obviously, it didn't work on this one, but that basically just explains it to you. When you leave, you just go back in. Now, when you're pickpocketing from these, they drop ham items, and that is like the whole outfit that they're wearing. I think it's only the full set that you have to have equipped to have a lower chance of getting caught, but I'm just going to put them on one piece by, at a time as I get them. You want to hold on to all of these that you get, because we need at least 2 sets total. That's for a future quest. We don't need it right now, but anything extra that you get, go ahead and keep it in your inventory if you have the inventory space for it. Because we're going to want 2 hoods, 2 bodies, 2 legs, 2 cloaks, etc., etc. I think there are 7 pieces total. There's the hood, the body, the skirt, the boots, the gloves, the cloak, and a ham logo. So however many that is. But anyways, what we're going for here again is the Rusty Sword, which is like a 1 in 25.6 chance, I think, if I remember right. We only need 1 of those, even though there's a chance to fail. It's such a low chance that we're not going to worry about it. And we also want buttons. Buttons are going to be something that we need for the animal magnetism quest later on. We are going to do that quest in our sequence to Barrows gloves. It's a pretty darn useful one because it gives you a item that you can wear on your back that holds onto your ammunition when you shoot it. So if you shoot an arrow, you'll have a 72% chance to retain that arrow instead of it falling on the ground. So you can just, shoot it again and again and again. It's kind of useful. It's not quite the same as like World of Warcraft where like it speeds up. It's not like a quiver that like speeds up your attack speed. It just keeps your ammunition. So it's pretty useful, but we're going to get that later on. And we're going to need buttons for that quest. So we'll stay here. We're looking for the Rusty Sword and buttons. There's a couple of other things that you can get from these guys. You can get an easy clue, which is kind of just, it's called a treasure trail, but they're just kind of, fun things to do. And they can get you some gear upgrades. You can get easy clues from this one. There's different tiers in RuneScape: beginner, easy, medium, hard, elite, and master. At this stage of the game, we're really only going to be able to complete easies and mediums, most likely. Well, beginners as well, but that's kind of a waste of time. And that's what you see that I got in my inventory there. And then you can also get some herbs. You can get some coal, which is okay to hold on to if you have the inventory space. And then you can also get a steel axe, which we've already bought, so you don't need to get that. And a steel pickaxe, which is an upgrade for us. So you can actually hold on to that one if you want to, in case we do a little bit of mining. But anyways, that's everything that we're going to kind of, do while we're here. So we're just going to continue on since we got our Rusty Sword until we get the buttons, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. Now, next, I think we're going to be running over and making some blue dye. I could have actually bought the blue dye on day 1 in Alderaan. I forgot that there's a new dye shop somewhere around there in Civitas Illifortis, Alderaan, kind of like Varlamore area. There's one there somewhere. It's not content that I've engaged with, so I actually don't have it in my routing, but if you bought that because you've seen it somewhere else, great. And if you didn't, we're just going to be running over to Aggie after this to make some dyes, so we'll wrap this up real quick, and that'll pretty much run this down. As you notice, I got 3 rusty swords here. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the other 2, because we only need 1. But I think I followed this up with buttons pretty quickly, which at that point I flip-flopped and I picked them back up because, you know, I've got the extra inventory space. We don't need anything else, so might as well take them just in case. Like I said, we can fail the rusty swords. What we're gonna have to do is bring this to a Tyndall merchant, and he's going to essentially identify the sword for us and give it back to us. So he'll give you like an iron sword or a bronze sword or something like that back. But if you have a very low smithing level, you have a chance to fail that. In which case, if we have that very rare chance, then, you know, we'd want to have a backup one. So since I have the inventory space, I'll go ahead and bring it with me. Typically, I've never bothered before because in all of my times doing this on RuneScape, I've literally never failed it. I think it's, you know, probably a 1% chance or less. And that's also probably at like level 1 smithing. We're already 29 smithing from the Knight's Sword quest, so we don't really need to worry about that much. So we're going to go west from here to Drainer Village. And like I said, we'll just drop some things off in the inventory and we will go ahead and make our blue dye. Just a small note on that because, you know, there's not too much going on right now. With the blue dye, this is like very inconsequential, but you can speed up the process of making a blue dye a little bit by not having to talk all the way through Aggie's text. And by that, you know, we're going to go to the witch up here and typically you'd talk to her, you ask her if she can make a blue dye. She gives you all of these text options. You have to like click through it, blah, 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 blah. And then it finally gives you the option to make a blue dye and you can. So I'm going to showcase that when we do this, but we already have our orange dye. We need 1 blue dye, 1 orange dye for the Goblin Diplomacy quest. That's why we're doing this right now. And I'm just going to showcase that by going through the quest text or like, you know, whatever her text is to get that done. But alternatively, a much better way is you can literally just click on the woad leaves in your inventory or red berries if you're making red dye, onions if you're making yellow dye. We don't need to do so because we already picked up the orange dye. Click on the woad leaves in your inventory and then literally just use them on Aggie and she will make the dye instantly for you. Instead, just to, you know, kind of show it, you know, how long it takes otherwise, I walk through all of these things and, you know, do it the long way. But just something I wanted to show just because everyone always makes dyes this way and a lot of people just still don't realize, even if they've been playing the game for 10 or 20 years, that you can just click on the item and click on Aggie and get it done quickly. So, you know, just kind of useful there. Anyways, from there, I think, well, you know, I'm not really sure. I do one of 2 things. I'm actually gonna have to pay attention here and see where I go next because I can't really remember. We need to be routing to the tourist trap quest, but I might actually run up and do Goblin Diplomacy. Never mind. Okay. I see what we're doing. So we're going to run down to the Wizard Tower, and we're going to take our Scrying Orb there. If you remember, this is from the Enter the Abyss mini quest that we started in Varrock. We need to do Enter the Abyss to do Temple of the Eye later on, I'm pretty sure. So that's going to get us level 9 rune crafting. Then we do Temple of the Eye for like low 30s rune crafting instantly, and it unlocks the Guardian of the Rift minigame. But to do that that mini quest, we need to take this Scrying Orb that we were given from the mage in Varrock earlier on. So if you don't have this in your inventory, go ahead and get it out from the bank and then come here. And then we'll just, we got to take this to 3 different locations that you can teleport to the Rune Essence Mine. So we did that in Varrock already. We could do it in the Gnome Stronghold. We could do it in the Wizard Tower. We could also do it in Ardy at Wizard Cromperty. We're already near here, so I just decided to go ahead and come here and knock this out now. Just because it's, you know, it's close. You know, we might as well. So that'll knock out 2 locations. We'll have to do this one more time before we're done with it. But from here, we're going to go ahead and take a Clan Wars telly to, or a minigame telly to Clan Wars. So again, it's the little grouping option at the bottom left of your like whole inventory interface. And then go up to the top right to grouping, and then, you know, click the drop down to Clan Wars. From here, basically any time that I teleport here, it's mostly for run energy restoration. So we're going to go ahead and hit the pool. You can either go through the portal that's to the south of the bank or use the pool here to restore that. And then we're just going to go ahead and make our way over towards the Black Knight's Fortress, which is going to be right down here. So to do so, we're going to go underground until we get to Edgeville. So again, we've done this one time before. Northeast in the Ferox Enclave, we'll go down the stairs there. Walk through here, hit the portal to Soul Wars. Again, you can use the minigame tellies to go straight to Soul Wars if you want to. You just don't get the added benefit of, you know, restoring your run energy. And then we'll take the portal to Edgeville from there and walk south. But, you know, that's just, you know, if I do it this way, restore the run energy versus at Clan Wars, you know, I get to Edgeville with 75 run energy, where I was 0 before that. So it's just kind of helpful. Now, if you remember earlier in one of the previous episodes, we started the Dwarf Cannon quest and did all of the steps that are already there. So before we run up and do Black Knight's Fortress, we're actually going to run down here and just go ahead and continue that quest. There's a step here with Nilodian, which is the Dwarven NPC here. He's just going to give us the Dwarf Cannon ammunition mold, which is what Captain Logout, requested of us when we were on that side of the map. So we'll just, continue the quest on Quest Helper, change it up to that real quick, and then we'll go ahead and leave here, start up Black Knight's Fortress again, because that's all we need to do on this side. And then the next time we find ourselves on that side of the map, we'll go ahead and turn in the Dwarf Cannon quest and kind of finish up there. Unfortunately, as you're about to see, I forgot one thing for this quest, which is the cabbage. So I'm going to have to turn around here and, grab the cabbage, and luckily there's one nearby that I could just grab at the monastery right there, but make sure you bring your cabbage with you. I got that wrong this morning when I recorded this episode, and a good RuneScape player would have remembered that I got that wrong then, and the last time you were at the bank probably told you to bring a cabbage. I didn't do that, unfortunately. You can kind of consider this a soup guide, and you're gonna have to take some extra steps like I did, but it's okay. I just I brought the bronze med, I brought the iron chain body, but I forgot the cabbage. Make sure you grab your items for these quests. When you see me going to the bank for something, try to get out the same things that I have in my inventory, because then you can't go wrong. Because if I make a mistake, at least we're making the same mistake and we can remedy it quickly. Whereas if you forgot the cabbage and you forgot the iron chain and the bronze med, you'd have to run back to the bank here instead of just grabbing a cabbage right here. So anytime I hit a bank, try to match my inventory. I'm not always going to have the perfect items because I'm doing a lot of this from memory rather than writing it down. But I'm sometimes going to have at least most of the stuff that we're going to need. Also, you'll get a kick out of this later on, but we made several mistakes in this video, so it actually should be a good giggle later on, but I'll wait until we get to that before you see what they are, because it's kind of rough. Anyways, we'll go ahead and go up here and continue the Black Knight's Fortress quest. Now, to explain the reasoning behind why we're doing this quest, well, I could talk through all the quest steps here, but really just click blue, start Quest Helper and click blue. It's a very simple quest. But instead, I'll go ahead and explain the reasoning as to why we're doing this. If you remember, the goal is to try to get up to the Tourist Trap quest, and also we just want to get our agility level up a little bit, right? Agility, Herblore, those are both really important stats to have up on an Ironman, especially in the quest grind. So the Black Knight's Fortress quest is one that is going to unlock the Recruitment Drive quest for us. The Recruitment Drive quest is necessary for well, several other things in the future, but also it's going to give us 1000 Herblore experience and 1000 agility experience, and 1k XP and another skill. I don't really remember what it is right now, but there's one more as well. But that's going to get us to level 9 agility. It's going to get us to, I think, level 10 Herblore, and level 10 Herblore is going to be needed for the Dig Site quest. Dig Site quest is 1, good for mining experience. It's going to get us over level 30 mining, I want to say, and 2, it's necessary for the Desert Treasure quest. It's a prerequisite for that. DT is a prereq for Barrows gloves, so you can kind of see how everything fits together. It's just one of the, the quests in the sequence that we need to do. We need to do Black Knight's Fortress so we can do Recruitment Drive so we can do Dig Site so we can do Desert Treasure so we can do Barrows gloves. So anytime I have you do a quest like this, it's usually because it's in some way either beneficial for the quest experience that you get, so you can have the stats for the quests that you need for Barrows gloves, or it's beneficial because it is a quest that is literally required for one of the other quests that we need to do. So that's why we're going to run that down. So we're going to start with this, and then we'll go to Falador, we'll do the Recruitment Drive quest, so we can work on our Herblore level, work on our agility level. Past that, the goal is also to get to the Tourist Trap quest, which is kind of necessary because we're going to get a massive amount of agility experience for that. The agility XP we get from that should get us level 27 agility, because we'll already be level 9. And that's going to get us the agile requirement for the Grand Tree quest, which is, it's got 3 benefits to it in terms of quest experience. It's got magic experience, it's got agility experience, and I think it's only, oh yeah, no, there it is, attack experience as well. Massive quest for those 3. So once we finish Black Knight's Fortress, we'll just kind of get back on track here. Go ahead and take a Chronicle teleport if you did the same mistake that I did in the other episode. If you didn't forget to feed your cat, you don't actually have to take the teleport here. But if you remember, I forgot to feed my cat in the previous episode, so my cat ran away. So I'm just going to go ahead and come up here real quick and get a new kitten. It's going to cost me 100 GP. You can completely skip this step and just use the little timestamps in the video to skip to the next one if you want to. But this is something that I screwed up, so I want to make sure that I have this by the time that we by the time that we get around to the quest that requires it. So Falador Teleport next, if you have the level for it. If you don't have the level for Falador Teleport, you're actually just going to have to run there, and it's just to the west and then south. Follow the map. But we don't really have a better option. If you like spooned your rune scimitar, or you skipped that grind and you went with a rune sword, you might not have 37 mage, so you might just have to run there. That's okay, don't worry about it, not a big deal. You can actually skip putting everything in your bank right now, because I actually made one mistake. I'm about to turn in the Black Knight's Fortress quest, and that's going to give me 2.5k GP. And for the follow-on quest, Recruitment Drive, I need to have nothing in my inventory. So you could just go straight into the castle here and turn in the Black Knight's Fortress quest, because then we're going to have to go back to the bank anyways, because I don't want to drop my 2.5k. I want to kind of keep it, right? So we'll end up going to the bank a second time anyways. That's why I just deposited all of my inventory and my equipment, though. I'm trying to clear my inventory for the Recruitment Drive quest. So back we go. That gives us 3 more quest points. Talk to Ceramic Vars again, and we're going to go ahead and start the next quest. It also puts us on 51 quest points. So if you remember, we need 175 for Barrows gloves, so we've still got a lot of work to do. But you know, we're early. We're like 8 hours or something like that into the account, if even. I think we're actually less than that. And probably an hour of that time was me AFK at the crab. So you know, we're doing quite well for progress. But we're going to go ahead and hit the East Bank here, just deposit everything. This is all of your worn equipment and all of your inventory, so we can knock out the Recruitment Drive quest. If you played this game back in the day, you'll remember that you used to have to make your character a female character to be able to finish this quest. You don't have to do that anymore. There's no like voucher for it or whatever else. Jagex found that it was too offensive to make your character a female. I don't know. I'll pass on that one. But anyways, don't worry about that anymore. They changed the entire sequence of the quest on that part, so we don't really need to do that. Let's just go ahead and deposit this, and then we're going to go to talk to Ceramic Vars, which is in the Fally Park here, so we can start up this quest. I'm sorry, certification. Different one. Certification. Side note, if you're following along with me, you have at least 41 attack and 30 strength. If you haven't hit the crab, which you probably haven't yet, I'm a little bit higher strength because I've already done the crab. There's one combat portion of this quest that you need to have no items in your inventory for, which means you can't bring food. So just follow Quest Helper. Make sure you're paying attention down here so you can see whatever there is. And I'm so sorry. I think I've had my mouse AFK'd on the screen for a while. That's probably bugged you guys. Just follow whatever the quest text is. We have to solve a series of puzzles, which this is kind of a fun one. If you want to turn Quest Helper off for this, it's kind of fun to do on your own. This one specifically with the chicken, the fox, and the grain. You need to make sure that, you know, 2 things aren't on the same side that would eat each other, because otherwise you'll fail it. But anyways, one combat portion of this quest, you have the stats to do it, but if you get unlucky with hits, you might need to know how to flinch, and I'm going to teach you how to flinch the NPCs while we're doing this. I definitely went over it when I was recording this. I'm going to have to try to explain it while watching myself do it, hoping that I can, you know, explain it the right way, because I might screw it up a little bit there. But, you know, we'll try not to make that happen. Anyways, we'll go and finish up this step, and I'll try to do the best that I can to explain how to flinch all of that when we get to it. Otherwise, I will sit here patiently, kind of twirl my thumbs as I wait for myself to finish this portion of the quest. Kind of awkward re-recording over a video I've already recorded, but you know, like I said, I can't just like leave it. Okay, so this is the combat portion. It says no blade can defeat me. Now, you see the steel battle axe here? Don't grab the steel battle axe, because steel battle axe is a blade. I actually thought that it was just the steel sword that you can't use. Turns out it's the battle axe as well. You need to grab the steel warhammer or punch him. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this. If you get all the way along the south wall here, that's where I am, run all the way to the side to get him on the side of you, and then take 1 step north and then 1 step west, you'll be able to flinch him or safe spot him. So if you're taking a ton of damage, just get all the way along the south side. You can do it either on the east or west, it doesn't matter. All the way to the corner, get him to the east or west of you along that southern wall. So I'm going to show you on this side as well. Take 1 step north, take 1 step east. You can do it either way. You can't do this same method on the east or the west wall. You have to do it on the north or south wall. And remember, there's some stuff up on the north wall, so we'll just do it on this one. If you wait for the enemies and your health bar to go away before you attack him, you can flinch them, meaning you can get a hit in before they hit you back. The reason that works is the NPC in that case, when you engage in combat, will hit you 1 tick after you hit them. However, like I said, Steel Battle Axe is apparently a blade. I get that it has a sharp edge, but I don't think it's a blade, personally. I don't know. Maybe I'm unfamiliar with the definition of the blade. Don't do that. Make sure you use the Warhammer so you don't have to entirely restart all of the quests that you've done. All of those things that I've done already, all of those little, you know, sub-quests, I have to do them again now. You know, I'm actually just going to cut this from the video. I think we're just going to skip ahead here. There's no reason to actually go over that, and I can just save some time on that, but I don't need to make you guys suffer through that. I forgot I can just fast forward, so let's go ahead and fast forward. Okay, this room, you just take all of the, you know, the items that it asks you to bring out. It's actually quite simple. It has you search every single thing in here for some reason, even though you don't need some of the items like the shears that you just grabbed. I don't know if that's because some of these items can be in randomized locations, but I think it has you search everywhere except for one bookshelf, which is the one I'm going to have to come up to here, but kind of found that interesting. I didn't actually, that was odd to me. I haven't noticed that before. It must be randomized, because otherwise I don't know why they would have you search the chest for the shears, but you know, maybe you can grab like a chisel from there or something, and I know you need a chisel and a knife in this. This is just a little, you know, chemistry thing to, you know, open the doors. Really, it's as simple as just click blue. If you want to, again, it's kind of a fun puzzle to try to, you know, figure out yourself, but you're probably not going to know how, well, I'm not going to insult your intelligence. A lot of people are not going to know how these things react, these, you know, chemicals and everything else. So if you want to try to solve it, it's kind of fun to do, but, you know, otherwise just click blue. It's easy. Get the key, go through the door, and we'll move on to the next room. We've already done this. Let me go ahead and skip past it. Okay, we're going to take the Warhammer this time, obviously. And then again, I'm half health for this one, so I'm going to have to basically use that flinching method. So we're going to do exactly that. Let's go ahead and get him along the southern wall. Another chance to practice it. And then north 1 step, east 1 step. And then we can wait until his health bar and my health bar goes away. Attack, step back. And that's how you're flinching something. So otherwise, if you do die in here, it counts as a hardcore death. You don't want to do that. Ask my buddy Soup. He actually did die on his hardcore while doing this quest. And I'm pretty sure he was watching his own quest guide while doing it. So sorry, Soup, to call you out like that. But it's just so comical. You know, that was his first hardcore way back when hardcore came out. So, you know, give him a break. This one's easy. You can ignore it all. You could just click Quest Helper. Otherwise, if you want to do it on your own, you're just looking for the missing statue. There's 4 of each color. There's 4 different weapons that they're using. So, you know, obviously, there's a brown one missing. Find the item that he's missing. In this case, the bronze Halley. And when everything resets after 10 seconds, just click on whichever one is the odd one out. The one that was missing in the previous. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then move on to the next. And that's all the tests. That's going to be this quest. So again, Herblord Prayer, that's the other one. And Agility, all 1,000 experience each. But more importantly, those are some levels that we're going to need because we need to get to Dig Site eventually for the big mining experience before we get Ellie Workshop 1 and 2 done. Because we want the ability to mine coal. You don't have to mine coal for the quest. You can actually just go buy it from some shops. But I just like getting that out of the way because we need to get it done anyways. If you are low HP from this quest, please remember to heal up before you get anything done. And then we're just going to get a lot of the items that we just had out before we did this quest back out again. So get your kitten out and get your bar crawl because we'll hit a couple of things on the way with that. The scrying orb, if we get an opportunity to stop by another one of those. The runes that you have. For this, we just need law runes, air runes, and mine runes. You don't technically need them for, you know, all of the content that we're doing, but I tend to just always have some sort of combat source on me, some sort of coins on me, well, coins on me, and some food when you're playing hardcore. Teleports, food, way to attack, coins, always useful information, useful stuff to have. While we're here, since we're in the Valley area, let's go ahead and run up and do Goblin Diplomacy. So go ahead and grab out your orange die that you got from the Client of Karen quest and your blue die. Those are the only two that you need. And I grabbed my clue out as well because there was the location kind of close here. So we're going to go knock that out as well. I also pulled out the Dwarf Cannon stuff, but I don't think we're actually going to run over to Dwarf Cannon yet. I think we're going to deviate and head to the Tourist Trap quest towards the end of this video. So I don't think you actually need to pull that stuff out right now. But I got it anyways, and you can't go wrong with getting it out, so, you know, why not? Let's just go and get a few food out as well, because it's just not really a good idea to travel anywhere on hardcore without food. And then we'll just go ahead and get to the Goblin Diplomacy quest. Actually, I say the Gimli of that ass. Nice name. I remember calling that out this morning. I say that we're gonna run up there, but I kind of forget that we have this easy clue, so I'm actually gonna, you know, deviate and head back. I'm gonna skip forward just a little bit, just because I turn around just so we can continue the clue. And I'm sorry, I keep yapping a lot in moments where I try to fill the empty space because I can't entirely remember what I did in this. But I keep forgetting that I can just fast forward in the video. I want to try to keep it as like full of a guide as I can, but just in this situation, like you don't really need to see me deviate for a clue. So I could just, like, you know, hit forward a little bit. Pesca's Helmet Shop is actually not that far away. I genuinely don't remember if I left for this or not, but I actually do think I took a Chronicle Teleport here to go do this clue step to see if we can finish it. Or no, I might have just run over. I think I actually did just run over to this one. I'm going to skip forward just in case I did. Okay, we did run over, so I'm just moving over here to the clue step. Again, I'm only stepping forward here, and I got one that I can't do right away, by the way. But I'm only fast forwarding here because you don't need to see me deviate for a clue. So basically, back to where we were. We're going to run up to the northwest from Falador to do the Goblin Diplomacy quest. So that's, you know, northwest over here. Don't go up the mountain. Just go kind of along the western wall and then north. And that's going to be Goblin Village. Now, we're doing this quest because we need to eventually finish Recipe for Disaster. Again, all of the quests that we do either, you know, have a reason for the experience that we're going to get, the quest points that we're going to gain from it, or they're a prerequisite for another quest. This one obviously is a prereq for the Goblin portion of Recipe for Disaster. Recipe for Disaster is a quest that has, like, I think it's 7 or 8 sub-quests to it. And the Goblin Generals are one part of it. While we get in here, I just need to point out, do not kill goblins for goblin males. You need 3 goblin males for this quest, or we're going to get them from crates. So go upstairs in the first house and search the crate there. There's a goblin male there. Go back downstairs and go into this house that I'm about to go into to the northwest, 2 houses up. And there's another crate in there. We're going to search that one as well. And then around the back side of the northern house, the house that the goblin generals are in, there's one more crate and you can get a goblin male in there. So all of those, you know, I don't know, minutes that you spent killing goblins back in the day trying to get goblin mail drops, you don't need to do that. These have actually been in there forever. So just, you know, search these, and we don't need to deviate and kind of, you know, KO some goblins here. Make sure you use the orange die on one of them and the blue die on the other. Talk to General Bentnose or General Wartface and just follow Quest Helper through. It's a pretty quick quest, and you know, you could just spacebar through most of it, but just ask them if they want to wear a different color if you haven't already started the Quest Helper. Or if you've right-clicked it, it'll, you know, highlight blue with the correct option. But yeah, and kind of helpful information to know that you could just, you know, knock it out that way. Just search for the goblin males. You don't have to do this though. But like I was saying, we're gonna do this quest for the prereq for the goblin portion of RFD. That's usually one of the first ones that we knock out because it's one of the first ones that we actually have the level requirement for. Yeah, it's just kind of, you know, necessary. We need to get our Barrows gloves, so that's kind of, you know, one step along the way. From here, I think we actually head over to the Tourist Trap quest next. So I believe that we're going to be taking a teleport to. Oh, I might be going Barb Village. Okay, I might be wrong here. We might be going to turn in the Dwarf Cannon quest first, because we kind of have downtime here and the minigame telly's up. Usually if the minigame telly, which is a 20-minute cooldown, if it's off cooldown and there's a quest that I can do that I can turn in, or knock out real quick, I go ahead and do that. So that's why I'm doing that here since it's off cooldown, because then we're going to be home teleporting and doing a tourist trap, and it's a little bit longer of a timer, so we can go ahead and let that first timer, tick down so we can get a new minigame tally up. Let's go ahead and deposit a couple of things. We don't need the things that we had left over from the Knight's Sword quest. And we do have the ammo mold and the Nilodians, I think it's Nilodians notes. So we can go ahead and run south from here. This is Barb Assault, so if you remember, when we did the Waterfall quest, we unlocked the minigame teleport to this area. This is north of Ardoin, or Ardoin if you're pronouncing it correctly. But we're going to walk south from here and just go and talk to Captain Logout, which is who we did the bulk of the Dwarf Cannon quest with. And we'll just turn this one in. This is the last step here, so we can wrap that up. So right where the waterfall start is, we're going to go from the Barb Village area just to the south, and not Barb Village, I'm sorry, Barb Assault area, just to the south, and into the Dwarf Cannon quest start where we fixed the railings before. This isn't actually a super necessary quest. This is just kind of one of those that I tend to route in because it's free quest points. A little bit of crafting experience, though that doesn't really matter at this stage of the game. But it's just an easy one to do. This surprisingly is not any sort of prerequisite for Recipe for Disaster, though. It's just, we're doing so many of these quests in this area early on with Waterfall and, Trinum Village and everything else. Just easier to just, throw this one into the mix. So, you can eventually use a cannon if you want to. Typically on Iron Man, I'm usually 93 Slayer by the time I do. Go ahead and home teleport here, by the way. But I tend to not really touch cannonballs on an Iron Man unless I get a ton from boss drops, or I'll sometimes start making them around the 93 Slayer stage because I like using them to tag Smoke Devils when I'm doing that burst task. That's a much higher level task. So from here, like I mentioned, we're going to run east. Make sure you have your coins on you. Go to the bank if you don't have them, or you could just kill a few goblins to get 10 GP. But until we finish the Princely Rescue quest, which is why we have the pink skirt, by the way, we need 10 GP to cross through this gate. So, we'll go ahead and do that. And then we're going to run south here through Al Kharid. While we're here, actually, let's go ahead and, head over and stop at the crafting shop, because the first time that I pass through here, I like to, one, buy a few gems, sapphires and emeralds if they're in stock. I'm going to need more later on because I like to make games necklaces. I like to make, someone oversold the stock here, so I can't actually buy that since I'm an Iron Man, because it lowers the price that I would have to pay. The game inhibits that. But I like to buy sapphires for games necklaces. I like to buy emeralds for dueling rings, and we're going to need a lot of those later on. Now, I'll probably AFK some shooting stars. We'll get into that when we get to it to get some of those gems, but for now, that's a decent way to just grab a few starter ones. On that note, some crafting supplies I like to buy. The needle, at least 50 thread. That'll cover you through all the quests that you need to do. Basically, all of the molds, with the exception of the bolt ammunition, mold. And then the tiara mold as well. So just go ahead and grab all that stuff. You'll find a useful time to use most of these at some point in your account. So it's just a good thing to toss them to the bank and not have to go out of your way and come back to a crafting shop every single time that you need a bracelet mold, or then the next time an amulet mold or whatever else. Just go ahead and knock them all out at once. They're cheap. From here, run south. We're going to be starting the tourist trap quest. Again, we were talking about, we're doing this quest because we want to have a lot of agility experience from it. This is going to unlock the agile requirement, which is 25 for the Grand Tree quest, which we need to do that so we can do Monkey Madness. We need to do Monkey Madness so we can get a Dragon Scimitar. So this is kind of all of the process. So let's go ahead and deposit all of the things we just bought. We can also deposit a lot of the extra stuff, and we're going to do something bonus. We're going to take off everything that we're wearing that's not necessary. So we don't need our Chronicle teleport. We just want our Fire Staff on. That's actually a pretty useful item to have. And then we're going to go ahead and talk to Shani, trade him. We're going to buy a desert shirt, desert robe, and desert boots. We need that for the quest. Let's buy the entire stock of bronze bars. If there's not 10 in stock, you don't actually need 10. But let's try to get at least 3 for the quest. And I like to put a few left over in the bank just in case I need them for some quest later on. There's usually something that it comes up for, one small favor requires a bronze bar. So I like to have some extras. Buy 50 feathers, buy a shanty pass so we can get through the gate. And I think that's actually everything that we need. Oh, I'm sorry. Water skins. Go ahead and grab 3 water skins. 1's actually enough for the quest. If we are a little bit slow with it, 2's good. 3's overkill, but again, we might as well do it. And then we also want to grab just a little bit of extra food as well. I'd say if you're new, bring at least 8 food with you. I'm going to go ahead and feed my cat here and get him a ball of wool so he's happy before I go in here, because I'm not going to bring an extra fish with me for him. But you know, like I said, bring some extra food, because there's several things on this quest that attack you. There are camels, there are wolves, and you know, some of the guards will kind of rough you up a little bit as well. So it's just kind of helpful to have a little bit of extra food. I think I bring 7 with me. 7's fine, 8's fine, you know, somewhere around there. But regardless of what you do, you want to have a few empty inventory spaces. Let's probably keep at least 6 or so empty inventory spaces for this quest. So, you know, if you need to later on, you can always drop some extra food if you really need inventory space. That should be good enough. That being said, oh, I'm sorry, we need a hammer for the quest as well, so make sure you bring that. Read your quest guide. I think I glanced at the quest guide last moment and saw that. But anyways, that being said, I think I end the video here. So we'll start the next episode with the tourist trap quest. There's a safe spot with NPCs that I'm going to teach you at the very beginning of this, so it's kind of worth watching, even if you don't really need the safe spot, because you might have high enough stats. Like these stats, I don't really need to be, you know, safe spotting it, but it's helpful information to have, especially if you ever do this quest on a level 10 HP account, which I do quite often, because I like to front load the agility levels. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me with this. Again, I'm sorry that I had to voice over this entire episode. Trust me, it's awkward for me to sit here for 45 minutes and try to voice over something that I've already recorded and try to anticipate what I said, but thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next episode.